Tom Pelissero here on the Rich Eisen Show. Our colleague at the NFL Media Group, David Carr, speaking on NFL Total Access Monday night about his brother Derek, saying that he's going to go on a long free agency tour, and he's already, as we all know, the Saints were interested prior to his release. He had a meeting with the Jets that, by all accounts, went very well. Don't you think it would be best suited for him to make his move before Rodgers and the rest of the free agency begins? He's got the dance floor all to himself. Wouldn't you think he would tell a team, you want me, you can get me now? If you're going to wait for Rodgers or wait for anybody else, wait to see what the Ravens do with the franchise tag with Lamar Jackson, that you could lose me. Don't you think he should use the moment to strike while the iron's hot? What can you tell me on that front, Tom?
Well, that's assuming that any of those teams involved have made an offer, much less an offer that's at the price that Derek Carr would want. If you're the Jets and you're waiting to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers, you're probably not rushing to give Derek Carr $30 million a year right now, or whatever the number might be that he's got in his head that he should be getting on the marketplace. Absolutely. I mean, all these dominoes are interconnected, but the best offer for Derek Carr also might be out there after somebody misses out or after Rodgers goes back to Green Bay. There's a lot of – it is a fascinating environment. It reminds me of last year where there were some things that happened. For instance, think about this last year. You go back, Rich. The Falcons believed that they had a shot at Deshaun Watson, so they go as far in as they were willing to go there. They weren't going to do the fully guaranteed contract, but they made their swing at it, and then he chooses Cleveland. Well, in the meantime, Matt Ryan's looking at that and saying, you know what, I'm probably going to want to move on here. So then they deal him to Indianapolis for a third-round pick. Meanwhile, the Russell Wilson deal gets done to Denver. Washington is watching that happen and watching the Matt Ryan trade happen. They go, well, we can't miss out. They all of a sudden drastically increase their offer for Carson Wentz and acquire him. All those things were on parallel tracks, and they all impacted one another. So now, let's say by the end of the week, Aaron Rodgers makes his decision, and whatever that decision is, everything else now is going to play off of that. If he decides to go back to Green Bay, or he says, hey, I only want to be traded to, let's say, Las Vegas, now all of a sudden the Jets might be willing to go stronger in for a Derek Carr. So Carr's doing what he should, which is evaluating his options here. If somebody blows him away with an offer, I would expect that he would take that offer. Mm-hmm. He had a chance to go to the Saints. They agreed to the framework of a trade with the Raiders before that visit, but my understanding was the contract, which would have $40 million guaranteed, was an issue for New Orleans. And so he could still end up back there. He could end up with the Jets. That's how Frank Reich was talking today, saying they're not ready to say whether they'll bring him in for a look with the Panthers. But there's a lot of different options out there, and the best offer for Derek Carr might come after some of these other dominoes fall.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.